You're just seeking attention, they said as I lay in the hospital bed. My sister smirked from the corner. But when the doctor walked in with a toxicology report, their smug smiles disappeared. I knew I wasn't crazy, and now I had proof. Stop being dramatic, Amanda, your sister would never do something like that. My mother's dismissive tone cut through the hospital room as I lay there, my vision still blurry and my head pounding in the corner. My sister, Olivia, stood with her arms crossed, that familiar smirk playing on her lips. I'm Amanda Collins, 24, and I've spent my entire life being told I'm too sensitive, dramatic, or attention-seeking. But this time was different. This time I knew exactly what had happened, even if my family refused to believe me. It started at our monthly family dinner. Everything seemed normal: Mom's lasagna, Dad's bad jokes, and Olivia's subtle jabs at my life choices. I'd recently been promoted to lead researcher at a pharmaceutical lab, while Olivia, 2 years younger, was still finding herself on our parents' time. Another late night at the lab, Olivia asked, her voice dripping with fake concern as she poured me a glass of wine, "You should really get out more live a little." I took a sip, noticing something slightly off about the taste, but Mom had already launched into her favorite topic. When was I going to settle down and give her grandchildren? I ignored the strange, bitter aftertaste, attributing it to the new wine brand. 20 minutes later, the room started spinning. "I don't feel right," I mumbled. Gripping the table, my parents exchanged knowing looks, the same ones they'd shared since we were kids, whenever they thought I was being theatrical. "Maybe if you didn't work so much, you could handle a glass of wine," Olivia suggested sweetly, but through my increasingly blurred vision, I caught the gleam in her eyes. The next thing I knew, I was on the floor, my body convulsing. The last thing I heard before everything went black was Olivia's voice. "See, always has to be the center of attention." I woke up in a hospital. My parents hovering nearby, their faces a mix of annoyance and embarrassment. "The doctors say it was probably just exhaustion," Mom explained, patting my hand condescendingly. "You always push yourself too hard," but I knew better. I've been working with chemical compounds long enough to recognize the symptoms. "She put something in my drink," I insisted, my voice hoarse. Olivia spiked my wine. "Here we go again." Dad sighed, running a hand through his gray hair, "Always blaming your sister for everything." Olivia stepped forward, tears welling up in her perfect green eyes. "How could you accuse me of something so horrible? I'm your sister." Her performance was flawless. It always had been. Growing up, Olivia had mastered the art of torment. She'd break my things and cry about accidentally finding them broken. She'd push me down the stairs and sob about how I tripped every time my parents believed her golden child over me, their difficult daughter. But this time was different. This time I had science on my side. When the nurse came in to check my vitals, I grabbed her hand. "I need a toxicology screen," I whispered. "Please. I know something was in my drink." The nurse looked at me, then at my family, before nodding slightly. "Dr. Matthews already ordered one, honey, standard procedure for unexplained collapses." Relief flooded through me. Finally, there would be proof. This is ridiculous, Mom declared, gathering her designer purse. "We're not going to sit here and indulge these paranoid fantasies. Olivia, let's go get some coffee while your sister calms down." As they left the room, Olivia lingered behind for a moment. The caring sister act dropped, replaced by the cold smile I knew too well. "You know what your problem is, sis," she whispered. "He never learned to just stay in your lane, always trying to outshine me with your fancy job and perfect life. Sometimes people need a little reminder of their place." I stared at her, finally understanding this wasn't just her usual cruelty. She'd actually tried to hurt me because I was succeeding in life, because for once, I was doing better than her. "The blood test will show what you did," I said firmly. She laughed, a sound like ice cracking. "Please, it'll be your word against mine. Who do you think they'll believe? They never choose you." As she sauntered out, her words rang in my ears. She was right. They never did choose me, but maybe they wouldn't have a choice this time. I reached for my phone, hands shaking slightly, and called the one person who would always believe me, my best friend, Kate, a detective with the local police. "I need your help," I said, when she answered, "and I need you to get here before those test results come back." "On my way," she replied, without hesitation. "Don't let them discharge you." I lay back against the hospital pillows, my head still fuzzy, but my mind clearer than it had been in years. Olivia had finally gone too far, and this time I had proof growing in a lab vial, one molecule at a time. The game was about to change. Kate arrived before my family returned, her detective badge glinting under the harsh hospital lights. She took one look at my pale face and clenched her jaw. "Tell me everything," she said, pulling out her notepad. I explained about the wine, the bitter taste, Olivia's behavior, and years of similar incidents that have been dismissed. As I spoke, Kate's expression grew darker. "I'm getting security footage from a hospital entrance and parking lot," she said, "and I'm having a word with Dr. Matthews about expediting those test results." Just then, my parents and Olivia returned. Mom's face immediately soured at the sight of Kate's uniform. "What's this now?" Dad demanded. "Amanda, you called the police. This is a family matter." "Detective Wilson." Kate introduced herself formally. "I'm here investigating a potential case of intentional poisoning." Olivia, smirk faltered for a split second before she burst into tears. "How could you do this to me?" She sobbed, clutching Mom's arm. Your own sister, Mrs. Collins, Kate addressed my mother, ignoring Olivia's performance. Were you aware that your daughter, Olivia, has had 3 restraining orders filed against her by former roommates? The room went silent. Mom's face paled. That's impossible. All filed in the last 2 years. Kate continued reading from her notes, all citing similar incidents of food tampering and suspicious accidents. Those girls were jealous. Olivia protested, but her voice had lost its confident edge. They were trying to ruin my reputation, just like Amanda's trying to ruin your reputation now, Kate asked, coolly. Interesting pattern. Before anyone could respond, Dr. Matthews entered, holding a file. His expression was grim. I have the preliminary toxicology results. He announced we found significant levels of benzodiazepines in Ms. Collins' system, specifically a type commonly used to sedate patients. This combination with alcohol could have been fatal. Mom sank into a chair while Dad stood frozen. Olivia's tears dried instantly. That's impossible. She stammered.